What's up everybody? In this video I am going to be going over some very simple, easy beginner exercises for you. This is stuff I would teach in the first couple of lessons, and they're going to be really quick, and at the end you'll have an opportunity to just see them all back to back. So if you want to come back to this video, use it to warm up in the morning, or if you just need a refresher, you can skip to the end and see it there. But first let's just go over them. So I'm going to do them sort of in order of difficulty and kind of where I would start. So the first one is a classic. If you've not heard this one before, you're going to see it again. This is called the caterpillar exercise. So basically what you're going to do, this assumes you know how to use a pick by now and you understand frets and what those are. So the first thing you're going to do is jump to your 5th fret. This is kind of an easier starting point. Sort of in the middle of the neck, so the frets are smaller, there's a little bit more slack in your strings. So you can start there, and basically what you want to do is line up your fingers. Your first finger will be on the 5th fret, your second finger will be on the 6th fret, this is all on the E string, this top E string. Your third finger is going to be on the 7th fret, and your 8th finger is going to be, your pinky finger, your 4th finger, is going to be on the 8th fret. And what you're going to do is you're just going to play these notes one after the other. So the first one would be this 5th fret. Okay? You don't have to worry too much about what your right hand is doing. You just want to make sure you're picking the string, plain and simple. Then you're going to hit your next fret, that's the 6th fret, with your middle finger. Then you're going to do the 7th fret with your 3rd finger. And then lastly, the 8th fret with your pinky. Okay? And you're going to work your way down the entire neck doing this. So now we're on the A string. First finger, middle finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, pinky. You're just going to keep working down like that. Now we're on the D string, G string, one of the goals with this exercise is you really want to keep your fingers in their lane. You don't ever want to have your first finger going over to your 6th fret. You don't want your 3rd finger moving up to the 6th fret where your middle finger is. You don't want your pinky going over to the 7th fret. They all want to stay within their lane. You want to keep them separated. Now, what we're going to do is go backwards. So that's going to look like this. You're starting with your pinky on the 8th fret, and it's going to look like this. Moving backwards to your 3rd finger on the 7th, middle on the 6th, first on the 5th, then you're going to go to your B string and start the process over again. And the goal also is to make sure you're getting very clean, clear sounds out of your notes. Okay, you don't want it to sound like this. You don't want to get some kind of hybrid note where it's kind of in between the fret you want to be on and a different fret. Okay, you want to stay as close to the middle of those frets as possible. So take it slow. Do it as slow as you need to make sure all the sounds you're getting are as clear as they can be. And take your time to do it right. You don't want to do it so fast that you're getting your fingers in the wrong positions, or again, that you're not getting a sound that you're looking for. Now, this exercise, there's a million different versions of this. We can even make it simpler. If you're really struggling with that one, we can go back a step. So here's a different version. You can do it first with just one finger. Okay, so this is literally just going to be going straight down the neck, one finger at a time. So it's going to look like this. First finger on the 5th fret. Now on the 5th fret on the A string. Now on the D string. G string. B string. E string, and back up. Then you would switch, middle finger, so on. Pinky. You can upgrade when you're ready and do 2 fingers. So that might look like this. The first time might be your first finger on the 5th fret and just going to your middle finger on that 6th fret. Now you're going to go down a string set. And then backwards, so middle finger to first finger. Then you would move on to your middle 2 fingers. Backwards, middle 3rd finger to your middle. Third and pinky. This one's kind of one of the harder ones. Backwards, pinky to 3rd. Don't be surprised if you struggle with that pinky to 3rd. That one might be even harder than just doing the normal caterpillar, to be honest. Now you could do something where you skip a finger, right? So that would be 1st to 3rd. It's just my 1st finger going to my 3rd finger, so that'd be the 5th fret to the 7th fret. And reverse. Okay, now you could use your middle to your pinky. Pinky to middle. These are some easier options for you if you feel that the caterpillar in its regular form is too easy. Okay, now I'm going to show you some variations of that. Okay, so the caterpillar is just your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger, right? So this is an alternative version. Just a good way to mix things up if that gets kind of boring for you. You can do your 1st to your 3rd, middle, last. So it'd be your 5th fret with your 1st finger, 7th fret with your 3rd finger, 6th fret with your middle finger, 8th fret with your pinky. And then you would just keep going down the strings like that. So let me show you. So 1st finger, 3rd finger, middle finger, pinky. And you just work your way down the neck just like that. If you get used to the caterpillar, that might be kind of strange at first. This is like a, I don't know, this is like a tangled up caterpillar or something. So going backwards, you're going to do the reverse. Pinky, middle, 3rd, 1st. 8th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, 1st fret. Again, you really want to focus on clarity of notes, going at a pace that's right for you, and just making sure you can hear everything really well. Now, we're going to do a slightly different version. 1st finger, pinky, middle, 3rd. Okay, so it's a little different than the last one, so it's going to look like this. 5th fret, 8th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret. 1st finger, pinky, 4th finger, middle finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger. Now you're going to work your way down. Going backwards a little tricky. 3rd finger, middle finger, pinky, 1st finger. voiceover sounds like something out of a horror film, you know? Okay, so that's another option when it comes to the snake. There are more and more complicated versions. I might go over that in a different video, but for beginners, these are just great ways to get those fingers kind of moving for you. So the next thing I'm going to show you is going to be the 007 theme song. Now there's a trick to this. If you guys don't recall, this is essentially what it sounds like. Classic, if you remember it. So the trick with this, and the reason we're doing this, is we really want to work on our alternative picking. So alternative picking is we're no longer just going down, you can see that here. Now we're going back and forth on the string. This specific riff really requires that. So the notes up here on the neck are not as important. What you really want to focus on is what's going on this hand. Okay? So there's only 8 notes per time, 16 notes total in this riff. So I'll show you what I mean. So the first riff, part of this riff is like this. If you count that out, that's actually 8 notes total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you're looking for 8 notes total there. The second part is also 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 notes total. Timing-wise and feel-wise, you're also not necessarily going to be worrying too much about a specific pattern here. That's not the point of this exercise. What you want to focus on is just making sure that picking action is going up and down. That's the most important part here. If you get a good feel for it and can do the riff, even better. But you really want to just focus on getting that up and down motion with your pick. You can keep your palm sort of on your guitar to make it a little easier. Keep the action as tight as possible. Okay? So we're not talking about big broad strokes here. We're not doing chords or anything like that. Just keep that pick gently on the actual string. And we're just going up and down, keeping it as close together as possible, so that way you can get that done as fast as possible. So here it is. Let me do it right. And you can run that as many times as you need to, but that's just to get that wrist moving. It's just to get those fingers warmed up, okay? So that is our second exercise. The third and final exercise I'm going to show you in this video. This is exercise just to get comfortable with your power chords. Now, there's a million songs out there you can use. Okay, so pick your favorite if this is not one for you. What we want to do, if you're familiar with power chords, if you're not familiar with power chords, I would get comfortable with those first, but this is a really great way to get comfortable with them. So basically, you're going to put your first finger on the 5th fret and your third finger on the 7th fret. Okay, so this is just a power chord on your 5th fret. This is also an A power chord, A chord. Okay, so nothing super crazy. And what we're going to do is basically just work our way down the neck like this. I'm going to show you this last chord here in a second. But each time along the way, we're going to hit this 4 times. And you really want to be careful to only hit the top 2 strings. That's very important when it comes to power chords. Or alternatively, when you get really good, you can mute your bottom string. It's this 3rd string. So that's not an issue for you. But what you want to focus on is just getting a nice, clean, clear power chord and getting comfortable changing those. So it would look like this. 4 times each chord. Then you're going to move down to your 3rd fret for a G power chord. Then you're going to move down to your 1st fret for your F power chord. And then your last one is an E power chord. Now, I usually just move backwards one like this and use my third finger. But you can do this with your first finger. You can even do this with your middle finger. It's a little unconventional, but sometimes it makes sense. So if I'm here already on this F chord, my middle finger is already free to go, so you could theoretically just put that there. However you want to do it. But your E power chord is just your open E string and the second fret right there. Okay, so let me show it to you all together again. So practice going through that, and you're looking for a smooth, clean transition. You're looking for your power chords to sound really clean. You don't want to be hearing any other strings. You don't want to hear the sort of like... You don't want to hear any of that. Just straightforward, clean. Okay. Now, if you want to do an even harder version with power chords, what you can do is go to this A string and your D string, same frets, and now you can do the same exact riff in this position, and this will force you to try to avoid this top E string, or again, if you're really good, you can mute that top E string. When you get more advanced, that's probably more ideal. You want to work on muting these other strings so you don't have to think about it as much. But if you can't, if you're just focusing right now on trying to get these strings to sound good, just start by trying to be as concise as possible with this right hand. And you're just going to work your way down the neck in the same way. This last one is actually an A power chord. It's the same thing as an E power chord, you're just using that A string and the second fret here on the D string. So this is a D power chord. C power chord. This is a B flat power chord. A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the actual song we're referencing here is called Walk Don't Run. But it's not so important that you get the exact feel of that correct. 4 beats per power chord. Clean power chords, clean transitions. That's what we really want to focus on with that. Okay, so now I'm going to go through all of the exercises one after the other. And you can use this as a reference if you're really good at all of these already. And so now this is just part of your warm-up routine. Okay, so we're going to start with the Simplified Caterpillar. And we're just going to run through all the variations of it. Feel free to pause at any point if I'm moving too fast. Just for the sake of time here, we're going to move a little quicker. There's one I didn't talk about. You can do first finger to pinky. 5th fret to your 8th fret. Okay, so those are all the exercises that I would use for beginners. Takes a little while to get comfortable with them. Some final thoughts for you is you really want to focus on accuracy. 2 ways you can make this more challenging on yourself. One is, if you make a mistake, start over. Doesn't matter how far you get into your thing, just start over. That's one way to incentivize yourself to be more accurate. If that starts to get too easy for you, do it 5 times in a row. And if you make one mistake, you have to start over. So you can get as crazy with this as you want to. Another piece of advice for you is use a metronome. If you don't know how to use a metronome, we'll try to cover that in another video, but metronomes are super helpful for getting consistency. Just go along with the beat for every one note, right? If it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really helpful to being able to, it's just helpful for these exercises, generally speaking. Okay, and then the last piece of advice is exercises are meant to challenge you. If you find this challenging, that's a good thing. That's exactly what you want. And if you don't find this challenging, find more exercises. Move on. Find a more complicated version of what you've done up to this point. And as always, try learning songs. At this point, you're probably ready for learning songs anyway. You should be, no matter how early it is in your journey. Keep it fresh, keep it interesting. In the meantime, you can use these exercises to get yourself warmed up and get your fingers stretched out, ready to go for any song that you want to learn. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Hope you like this video. Subscribe for more videos like this. And I hope you have success in your guitar learning journey. And we'll see you in the next one.